Leaves were beginning to turn in mid-October, and for the rest of the month, I would be traveling through South Carolina and Georgia in search of good trains and fall colors. I would briefly stop in Taylor's one afternoon to see if anything was coming, and it would not be long before I heard the horn of NS 9814 leading NS EO8. I felt like exploring some, so I woke up early and drove to Elberton, Georgia, hoping for some good action on CSX's Abbeville subdivision. My first and only train of the morning would be CSX M583, that may have originated in Nashville on the 13th. I would spend the rest of the morning and part of the afternoon looking for a sign of another train coming. At about 1:30 p.m., I would hear another M583 calling a signal on the scanner. This 583 would make up for the lull in traffic with a shiny new rebuild leading the train and the Nashville, Chattanooga, and St. Louis sticker unit, third of 3. I would beat the train to Elberton and get a really good shot of it by the depot. I would beat the train to the Georgia-South Carolina state line, but I would not have enough time to set up my tripod for a video, so I would have to settle for an image of the train crossing the Savannah River instead. After more waiting, I would make my way up the Hartwell Railroad. I would first see HRT 654, a former Elgin, Joliet, and Eastern SD 38-2, parked outside of a granite industry. In Bowersville, Georgia, HRT 3044, a former Rio Grande GP 35, would be parked in front of the Rose Acres feed mill. The next Hartwell engine I would encounter would be HRT 136, a former Richmond, Fredericksburg, and Potomac GP 35 that has seen better days in Livonia, Georgia. North of Toccoa, Georgia, I would wait on NS 243 to come south. 243 would have a pair of AC-44 C6M rebuilds and a friendly crew in the cab of the lead engine. I would pull into the Ace Hardware parking lot in Clemson just in time to get NS 153. SD78HT4 UP3022 would be the third engine in this 7-engine lash-up. I would wait at the Clemson Amtrak station for NS 240, which had two NS-9s leading an NS ES44AC.
Clear, Clemson.
The next Friday, I would get off work early, and this would give me the opportunity to catch NSP-47, a local based out of Toccoa, Georgia, that is well known for regularly having GP60 power. I would be surprised by NS-283 and would barely beat it to a road crossing south of Control Point Courtney, where I would get a pretty good shot of the lash-up of BNSF power. 283 passed, I would find NSP 47 waiting for trackage to go south at Control Point Courtney. GP60's NS 7107 and NS 7138 would be the power for this local. I would try chasing P47 further south, but I would get confused after hearing some scanner chatter and would be unsuccessful in chasing the local. I would also miss NS 153 in the process. Fortunately, NS 243 would have SD 70 ACE NS 1127 leading, and I would get a very good picture of it in central South Carolina. I would decide to give the Abbeville sub another try the next day. This time, I would move closer to Atlanta in hopes of getting better action. Hearing that CSXT 7801 would be powering CSX L825, I would wait in Auburn, Georgia for the local to appear. The lighting was picture perfect, but much to my dismay, CSXT 7801 would be shoving, not leading, L825 towards Winder. An hour and a half later, L825 would come back south with CSXT 7801 leading Long Hood forward. Having heard earlier that CSX L826 was getting ready to head back to Palmer Yard, I would wait for it in Decula, Georgia. YN2-8 CSXT 7878 would come north as a light engine on L826. After looking at some model trains in Auburn, Georgia, I would head north in hopes of encountering some southbound traffic. I would finally see a signal for a southbound train in Hull, Georgia. The southbound would be CSX M580 with a pair of GEVOs leading. Unfortunately, my picture of this train did not turn out well, and there would be no trains to catch between Hull, Georgia and Lawrence, South Carolina, so I would end the day on a low note.
M58022, CSXT 3320. Clear signal, south end, hold south end.
The next Friday, I would be trackside again for another opportunity to catch NS P47. I would unfortunately strike out on P47, but I would not come away empty-handed. I would catch NS 153 crossing the Tugaloo River at the Georgia-South Carolina state line. SD70 ACC NS 1847 would be the second engine on this train. In Toccoa, Georgia, I would catch the same NS91Z that I saw in Locust Grove, Georgia, but the power would be reversed. Venturing farther south, I would get to the crossing in Cornelia, Georgia just in time to catch NS 240, which would have a fairly new BNSF ES44C4 leading an H2 painted BNSF-9. That Sunday, I would get word that NS 056, a BNSF military train bound for Charleston, South Carolina, would be coming north up the Piedmont. I would wait for the train in Westminster, South Carolina, where I would meet fellow railroad photographer Brian Klingerman. We would catch 056 in Westminster and follow it north. Brian and I would beat 056 to Seneca, South Carolina, where we would meet local railfan Dylan Smith. The dispatcher would align NS 240 around NS 056 to allow 240 to get ahead. NS 240 would have more BNSF power. The pumpkins would be coming just in time for Halloween. NS 056 would come after NS 240, and we would enjoy getting shots of the military train down the long stretch of track. 056 to Greenville, where the head end of the train would stop at the station so crews could be changed before the train would continue its journey up the Charlotte district. After a couple of rough weeks of rail fanning, this chase would really lift my spirits. I would be trackside in Westminster once again on November 4th. Like the past few Fridays, my main focus would be NSP 47. A couple of southbounds would come first, and the first one would be NS 153 led by SD 70 IAC NS 1221. Knowing the other southbound was getting close, I would take a chance and move to Wells Viaduct south of Toccoa. Seconds after I got my tripod set up, NS 27A would call the signal at Murphy's Crossing and cross Wells Viaduct. This was a shot I had always wanted ever since I moved to South Carolina, and I am very pleased with how it turned out.
Approach diversion at Murphy's Crossing, track 2.
As I headed back north, P-47 would get signal indication out of Toccoa. I would wait for the train in downtown Westminster. GP38-2 NS5649 would lead GP60 NS7101 and 3 tank cars over the bridge with the water tower standing tall in the background. I would not get NS P-47 going north again since I got confused about where P-47 was working in Seneca. I would have to settle for a cloudy shot of the GP60 leading the local south and central. After a period of waiting, NS 283 would stop in Central to meet a northbound train. The northbound would be NS 154 with an SD70 ACC leader. Once 154 passed, NS 283 would slowly depart Central and I would call it a day. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you haven't already, please like this video, subscribe to this channel, and hit the notification bell for more content like this. Thank you for watching. Till next time.
Railfan.